Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Today Ben and I have no plans apart from going out into York because it's beautifully sunny, and so I thought I would just take you with me, especially because I want to go to my favourite bookshops and charity shopping. And Ben yesterday did see a typewriter that he might buy, which is going to be one of Ben's dreams, is to actually buy a working typewriter and all kind of fix it up. So I think we might go and get it today. We also need to buy a little bolt for our kitchen door because Sybil, who has figured out majority of the doors in this house, has now figured out how to open the kitchen door, which means that when we're making their food, she can just let herself in at any time, which causes disaster because I think now they know that Sybil knows how to do it, they all kind of gather around Sybil as she works out the mechanics of the kitchen door. So we need to go and buy a bolt. But I just thought I would, take you with me and I'll show you little clips of York and then give you a haul at the end because again, there are a few things that I've seen that I think today I'm going to buy. So I hope you'll enjoy this little cosy Sunday outing with us. First of all, I have to start every day with a cup of tea, and this is my teacup of choice for today.
Cherry Bakewell.
Looks so nice. How many dongs will it take so I know when to start talking? That's for me. Oh no.
I genuinely don't know.
I think it's
That's the last one,
Is that a child meowing?
I think they're going like meow, like an aeroplane.
I hear cat sounds. We are currently in the Minster. I think it's called the Dean's Park, the Minster. I always call it the Minster Gardens, but I think it is the Dean's Park. And this is where it's my favourite park in York. And this bench I sat pretty much every day when I lived in York University and read like majority of the books for my course on. And so I thought I'd show you the book that I picked up at Minster Gate Bookshop. because actually I wasn't expecting to buy anything, but I went a bit rogue because, and I feel like a lot of you will appreciate this, I just saw a really lovely one of the Cranford Classics collection, and I just thought it was a really beautiful colour. If I could actually get, oh damn it, oh, okay, struggle, oh, okay, the brown Cranford, and it is Tess of the Bills by Charles Hardy, which is one of my favourite books. And I just thought this beautiful, like cornflower blue with the dandelions. I just thought it was so beautiful. They also had Fast Man in Crowd there, but I decided to leave that because I feel like, I don't know, the design, I see kind of regret it, but I just think with I can probably go back and get it. But also I just felt like this was so beautiful. For such a sad book, this is such a beautiful cover, but I also, when I went up to buy it, I said to the ladies who worked there, Ben and I were talking about how I don't like always to talk about real authors, or like alive authors, because so many of them end up being completely problematic. And so I've decided that my favourite authors are always the dead ones, because they can't tweet anything, and they can't become a TERF. So I know Thomas Hardy was problematic, but you know, he's dead. No more problems are coming from Thomas. And then also I will show you what I picked up in the Little Apple bookshop, which I bought for Ben because he really wants to read this, and I thought this Wordsworth classic edition was really beautiful, and it's Moby Dick by Herman Melville, because I did buy Ben an edition of this for was it your birthday, Ben, I think?
Yeah, it was my birthday.
And it was like beautiful, but it was like had those gold braid edges, and it was really plasticky paper, and therefore we just actually wouldn't ever read it because the texture was just so weird. I thought it was actually really beautiful. I feel like Ben and I were talking about how Wordsworth Classics really stepped up their game, and so I bought that for Ben from the Little Apple bookshop, which we really like. We just went to Crumbs, we did Cupcake place in York, and I had a Victoria sponge, Ben had a cherry bakewell. And now we're going to go and get a matcha, and I think we're going to head to go to some charity shops and some bookshops, but I think we're just going to have a bit of a wander, and then we finally need to remember, Ben, that we need to get that bolt for the cats.
Oh yeah.
For the door, because the whole reason we're coming out is to get this fucking bolt, so we need to go and get that, as well as picking up like random things like just like food, but come and join us for the rest of the day. I don't know what I'm saying. We are now back from our walk around York, and I hardly filmed today, so I'm very aware that actually I have no real clips to offer you. I think after I had my cupcake, I just got completely distracted and forgot everything. We did a good job at the beginning with our favourite bookshops, but one of the reasons is because towards the end of our little day out, we were carrying around a massive typewriter because Ben did indeed buy the typewriter that he saw in the charity shop yesterday. So say hello to our Adler Tipper typewriter, who we've called Irene, after of course Irene Adler for any Sherlock Holmes fans. And it came with a travel case, obviously, because the size of it means it's easy and portable. I say that, it's very, very heavy, but I think she's absolutely beautiful, and she works. We think Ben and I are going to have to replace the ribbon because when you type it slightly fades out, but I mean, just listen to this. Like, come on. Isn't that a dream? So so excited. Even though getting a typewriter was very much Ben's thing, he's always wanted a typewriter, and I think, actually, we haven't shown you Ben's Lego typewriter, so I'll insert a clip of Ben's Lego typewriter that I bought him for Christmas. If you haven't already watched our Christmas vlog, I surprised Ben with it, because he always wanted a typewriter. And now, I know you can't see it, but now we have an actual typewriter. I suddenly want to, like, write, I suddenly feel like Sylvia Plath. Like, I'm so excited by it. So this is Irene, and actually I think she's really beautiful. I've always thought of us getting a massive one, but actually she's rather fancy. And this is, I think, when I looked it up, it seems like it's from the 1960s, or maybe 1964. She's very heavy still. So this vlog went completely differently because it's now, in fact, I think I might actually make the title of this video that we bought a vintage typewriter, because we did. Anyway, this is Irene, and I have a few ideas of what I could do with her. Like, maybe I do. Am I going to become a poet? I feel like my intros to my videos, in fact I don't even have an intro, maybe I should make an intro, and the intro will be me sitting down typing. Why does it make me feel like a writer? I've never ever wanted to write before, and now I just feel like I've got the next great American novel in me. When I googled the Adler tipper, this is what Stanley Kubrick used to love to write on, which is kind of a cool fact. I know I've already showed you these, but we have Moby by Herman Melville, which again is beautiful, and the Tess and the Devils, which I'll do a bit of a close-up for because I think it is such a pretty. I really like collecting hardback books of my favourite books, and I just love this blue. I feel like I want to paint my walls this kind of blue. We got the typewriter from Ryder because at the top of their shop they have a whole kind of vintage section, which I always go and look for just different things in there, and I've picked up a few things in my time that I've really loved, especially for the house. But I also went to Oxfam Books, which is again one of my favourite places to kind of bookshop in York, the one on Micklegate and also the one on Petergate, and I picked up a Rumour Review, and this is the movie edition of it with Helena Bonham Carter on, and I actually already own this copy. I bought a copy from Morden Hall, which was basically a beautiful park and kind of house in South London, just near where we lived, but I bought this in their National Trust bookshop, which I miss every day, every weekend. I think I'd love just to go to Morden Hall, but I bought an edition from there, but it was really, like, it was quite damaged, and so when I saw this for like £1, I knew I had to get it. I have to say my favourite Ian Forster novel is Howard's End, but Rumour Review is a very close second, but it's also my mum's favourite book of Ian Forster's, and it's also her favourite film. I think one of her favourite films of all time, and so I knew I had to get it, and just because it's in a much better condition than what everyone is, but I do really miss my Morden Hall, like, National Trust bookshop. I really want to go down to Morden just to go, but obviously it's quite a way to travel now, but I haven't yet found a good National Trust bookshop up north. Like, I haven't, so if anyone has any recommendations for me, or in fact any recommendations of just other second-hand bookshops up north, I'm willing to travel. Yeah, I would definitely do it, but I think it's beautiful. I also picked up a new book today that is one of my most anticipated reads of this year, and it is Jane Austen's bookshelf, The Women Writers Who Shaped a Legend by Rebecca Romney. I feel like I don't need to explain to any of you why I'm so excited for this book, because this kind of book is just meant for me, but it is also the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth, and so it's a big year, and I'm loving all of the new publishing, the documentaries, the series that are coming out. It just makes me feel so happy that I think even more people are going to discover Jane Austen. Even though I know she's a really well-known writer, I still feel like so many people haven't yet read a Jane Austen, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. As soon as I heard about this book, I just knew that I had to read it, partly because it sounds like a course that I did on my MA. When I did my MA, I took all 18th century courses, and there was one there that I loved, which was called From Wollstonecraft to Jane Austen, and it was about kind of femininity in literary culture, and we basically studied all of kind of Jane Austen's, the writers who inspired Jane Austen. And when I looked inside here, there's a few names. There's one named Hester Peelsley, who I don't think I recognise, but maybe I've read some of her work. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But we've got here Frances Burney, Anne Radcliffe. Frances Burney is one of my favourite writers. Charlotte Lennox, Hannah More, Charlotte Smith, Elizabeth Inchworth, and Moya Edgeworth. And I studied all of those women apart from Hester, so I need to read some Hester I should have looked how to pronounce her name before this video. I hate when I don't do that. Hester Piozzi. Piozzi? Piozzi. It's probably Piozzi, isn't it? Someone can tell me in the comments. I'll have to have a look. This seems like the happiest time in my life, which was me studying Jane Austen. This feels like this is what, like, Charlotte Smith, like going back to Anne Radcliffe. Obviously just massive inspiration, especially in Northanger Abbey, and I'm so excited. This is honestly going to be like heaven for me, and I think it's because, like, Jane Austen was a part of a literary tradition of women who came before her. And I think when we think about the 18th century, I mean, arguably, I see, for me in the long 18th century, I think of Jane Austen as an 18th century writer. Other people will disagree and say she's 19th, but I really feel like the tradition for me comes in the 18th century. So I feel she's a part of that tradition, and there was women writers who obviously came before her. They shaped a legend, as Rebecca Romney says in her book. But I think sometimes when we think of the 18th century, you think of a very male-dominated literary world. And of course it was, but people like Frances Burney were really kind of making their way in the world as well. On the back it says, "Who are the women writers who inspired Jane Austen? Why have they all but disappeared from our bookshelves?" And I do think it is really odd that we have kept a lot of boring books by men from the 18th century, but we haven't kept a lot of Frances. I mean, they are there, but I don't really think they're read as widely. The only reason I knew that they existed was because of my MA. I'd heard of Anne Radcliffe before because of Northanger Abbey, but I don't think I'd ever heard of Maria Edgeworth before, with like Belinda and things. So I feel like, yeah, we've kept a lot of bad books from men throughout the years. I wonder why we didn't keep the good books by women, but we kept the bad ones for men. It says a lot, hey? Just while I'm on my book theme, I thought I'd give a very quick mention to two books that were very kindly gifted to me by William Collins. The first one, Queen James, I actually asked for because I love Gareth Russell. Gareth Russell's done one of my favourite history books of all time, which is his biography of Catherine Howard, and I love his writing. I've seen him now kind of talking, and I just think I love listening to him speak about it. I love his podcast. So when I knew he was doing a biography about James I and also his life and his loves, I was so, really excited for it. And so this is a proof copy. The book has now come out and is available obviously in hardback, and I've started to read it. But one thing I always forget working, reading a proof is that, especially for history books, I always forget this. So when I opened it, I was like, oh great, a family tree. And then obviously I realised that when you have a proof copy, the stuff still has to be put in by like production and things. So I think I will actually definitely get the paperback because I always love the pictures in history books. It's like my favourite thing. As soon as I get a book, I'm like straight to looking at the pictures. But yeah, this is Queen James, The Life and Loves of Britain's First King. And what I really like is one of the quotes they have on the back, which is from an anonymous English author in 1623, says, "Elizabeth was king, now James is queen." So I'm excited for all the drama in this one. Then another equally dramatic book is Thou Savage Woman, Female Killers in Early Modern Britain by Blessin Adams. And I'm really excited for this because I really liked her last book, which is Great and Horrible News, Murder and Mayhem in Early Modern Britain. And I support women's wrongs as much as their rights, but I think I really love true crime. And I do obviously struggle with the ethics of true crime and the morality of true crime, and so I love when it's historical. But what I'm interested in this is kind of looking at female killers in the way that they obviously go beyond their kind of the gender norms and also look at why women killed as well, which I think is the interesting thing here. Next I'll show you two vintage purchases that I made today. One expected, the next one probably not so expected. The first one is I got a really beautiful vintage postcard of St Mary's Abbey in York, which is one of my favourite places, and I actually have been collecting some vintage postcards, and I have a few actually here, a few that I got from London. So I've got the Tower of London, and I've got another York one over there, but I can't reach it. And I've got this really beautiful one of the Houses of Parliament that I love. And my dream is to actually kind of create a bit of a collage of them, because I think I really like the way they're colour graded. And St Mary's Abbey is just, a really beautiful part of York. And I just really like the way it looked. So I picked that up from an antique shop. And then when we went chair shopping, I found a purchase that for me is the most incredible Claire purchase ever. But I think for you, it will seem a bit odd. And that's okay. Today, in one of the matcha shops, I bought this, I guess, is it a tankard? A jug? A tankard or jug? What does it mean what do they call when they do have? I feel like that's a tankard. But this doesn't feel like a tankard. A celebratory tankard. Anyway, a royal wedding souvenir from the fairy tale wedding, obviously, of Prince Charles, or King Charles, and Lady Di, Princess Diana, the Queen of our hearts. I love royal tat. This is just something very specific to me. In this room alone, I have, like, my pen holder is a Elizabeth II coronation mug that I bought in London. And so when I saw this, I knew I'd have to get it because I love anything with Lady Di on it. And I do have a few royal wedding things. Now, I am a socialist, okay? So this is the weird thing. I don't believe we should have a monarchy. I love royal history, which is a complicated thing, but I love it. And I love any tat like this. If I see it, it's coming home for me. And then I've also been looking for a new thing to put some fabric flowers. So my mum, in fact, I think these fabric flowers, my mum makes everything. And she made these fabric tulip flowers for, I think it was for my nana's care home, I think. She made them for Mother's Day, but I don't think she ever, no, I think they were in her care home. But when my nana died, obviously, my mum gave me these ones, because I can't remember if they'd been in there. Or anyway, these were intended for my nana, whether she saw them or not. And my mum gave them to me, and I kind of was, she put them in like just a little jar, and I've always wanted to replace them, and I just actually think that this looks really nice. And so I now have in fact, my nana would have absolutely hated this, so it's perfect. But I just think it's like complete tat. But it was £2, and it was a donation to Mind Charity. There is actually a charity very close to my heart. So I think that was £2 well spent, and I'm chuffed. Alongside Irene, the next purchase of the day that was very important to make was the bolt for our kitchen door, so Sybil doesn't open up the kitchen door. When I was filming this video just now, she did in fact open this door herself. She can just now open doors, which is troubling, but genuinely the one to the kitchen is not good, because one, she steals the food, and two, like, we have to have it shut because they're obviously indoor cats, and if we have the back door open, she needs to put it, like, she just needs to not open doors. So Ben's going to try and fix that bolt. What else did I, obviously we got a little drink out, I got a matcha out because I love matcha from Bird and Blend. Oh my god, Irene is so heavy. I also got Branwell a new toy. I got him a Wild Hunter from the Cat Gallery because he really is starting to like one particular mouse that he is chewing to death, and so I got this one, and apparently it will make noise. I always find these slightly odd though, because not odd with the cat because obviously they're natural hunters, but to kind of bring things into your house that look like something cute, like look like an animal, and then you see your cat kind of shake them like breaking their necks, which is why have I made it so dark. So hopefully this will keep Bramwell entertained for a few hours, even though I think when we came back he was just asleep on this chair. Just being very cozy, so he was obviously fine. But yeah, it's probably, I love buying the cat's toys. I love buying the new things, like enrichment. Yeah, it's kind of cute, isn't it? I think it's, oh, it's only got one ear. Oh no, it's got 2 ears. Okay, that's fine. Just so, yeah, Bramwell can take off 2 ears rather than 1.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There you go. There you go. Have fun.
Okay. Let's see. Oh no, she's run out. I think we may have used the rest of her, because when we brought her home we did a test, or Ben did a test, and she had ink in. But I think actually now, I think we've had the last of Irene. And I feel like if this hasn't been used for a really long time, I am not surprised. But she's in perfect working order. So I'm excited to replace the ribbon. So I'll keep you updated, but I think if we replace the ribbon, everything else is fine. She's in good, she looks brilliant, I feel. Anyway, I'm now in a really uncomfortable position because this is heavy. I know when my mum saw this, because my mum took a typewriting course and a shorthand course. And when I was going like, it's so heavy, she was like, yes. Like, yes, this is what we used to use, Claire. But I love her. what I was trying to type on Irene was asking you to leave an emoji. If you are at the end of the video with me now, you can leave maybe a computer, I don't think there's a typewriter emoji, you can leave a pen emoji, a quill emoji which is like a feather, or a keyboard, and then I'll know. But thank you for watching. I'm going to have to put this down because it's really heavy. How do I take it out? Do I just like smush it back and I pull it out? Oh, that feels wrong. Okay. No, this must be how you take it out, right? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, I'm scared. Oh yeah, I can see an A because I tried to write please, and I can see the A really little bit. I will keep this and I will replace the ribbon once it arrives, and then I'm thinking that my intros are going to be so fancy. I might try, I don't know, what am I going to do? I think about my Great American Novel. I really hope you enjoyed this video, even though I didn't really show you much of York at all, partly because Ben was then carrying around a really heavy typewriter. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon in another video. Bye!